Thanks for tuning in and welcome to the Post Route Show. And now, here's your host, W. Earl Kitchings.
Good evening and welcome to the Post Route, a show where we dive deep into conversation with Black quarterbacks, both past and present. I'd like to apologize for getting to you a little late today, but technical difficulties do happen at times, and I'm sure with the heat being what it is, it has some effect on the internet and things like that. But I'm your host, W. Earl Kitchings, and this show is proudly brought to you by Quarterfied Back, the preeminent fraternity for Black quarterbacks and home of the prestigious BIP Memorial Trophy, the only national award that honors both the top HBCU quarterback and the top Black quarterback from high schools across the nation. We are so grateful and thrilled to have you with us tonight. And if you enjoy our content and like what we're doing, we ask that you please support us. You can hit the like button. You can subscribe to the channel. You can tap the notification bell. You can send us a donation. Whatever you feel is your pleasure, we welcome it. Join us live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more phenomenal conversations. Well, tonight we've got a guy who's been on the show before, and we just had to get back to him because, man, does this gentleman have a lot to give and offer what we talk about when we talk about Black quarterbacks. A product of Anderson, South Carolina, Hannah High. And if you ever heard the name Hannah, you might remember from the movie Radio. That was where Cuba Gooding Jr. portrayed the gentleman Radio in the movie, where he went to that high school, T.L. Hannah High, where he was a leading passer in the state as a senior, went on to play football at Benedict College, put up some great numbers there, led the Tigers to some phenomenal seasons, Offensive Player of the Year, and the list just goes on and on and on. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time reading his resume because it's very, very strong. Got a chance to play a little bit in Canada, but now he's doing his passion. He's teaching and grooming young men to be quarterbacks. Please welcome my guest tonight again, Coach Ramon Robinson. Ramon, welcome to the Post Route.
How y'all doing? Doing all right?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Man, I enjoy talking to you, man, because you bring such insight to the conversation, man. So thank you again for wanting to be a part of what we're doing. How are things going for you right now that it's summertime, kids are out of school, and they spending all day with you getting on your nerves? How's it going?
Man, listen, it's a time that you I ain't gonna say you dread, but you're also looking forward to it, just being able to pour back into the kids, because you got to think about once the season is going on, you're limited with time with these young men for us with their development. And so once the summer hits, that's my busy time. Matter of fact, let me take it back. Once the new year hits, that's my busy time, but it doesn't get completely busy for us when you're talking about scheduling and things like that. You're talking about from the morning, advertising 4 morning sessions and 4 evening sessions. That's what it's about now. Now, when I say wide open, it's wide open, and I'm blessed to be in the position that I am, and to be able to help these young men out. But when I say wide open, it's wide open. That's just like today, he advisory. They said, "Hey man, you need to let these kids come out the field for a little bit." Hey, but no complaining from me. Usually, I tell the kids to suck it up and mental toughness and things like that. I say, "Hey, I needed a mental toughness break myself." You know.
Hey man, you giving them kids some old school stuff talking about suck it up, man. Suck it up. Come on, son. Suck it up. These kids there's a different breed of kids nowadays.
Hey, that's what I tell them. Because that at the end of the day, I tell them, I'm just like, yeah, it's hot, but this is the opportunity where you learn the mental toughness part of being able to block out the outside noise in regards to not just people talking about you, but also how hot it is or how cold it is during the winter time.
Yeah.
Where if you're worried about how cold it is or how hot it is, you're not concentrating on your craft. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
That's just like you playing in a game and you worried about people booing you in the stands. No, that's not your job. Your job is to concentrate and block out all that unnecessary noise. And this thing called playing ignore, you got to play and ignore and concentrate on your development.
Well, Ramon, I got to ask you, how do you teach a kid to block out all the external noise and distractions? Because that is a very difficult thing to do for young men in that middle school to high school range. How do you teach them? How do you get them to focus on blocking that noise out?
You know how I do it? Because I become the fans.
Okay.
I'm the instructor, but I'm also your biggest critic. I'm also the one that's telling you you can't do this and can't do that, and that's one word that I don't believe in is the word can't. But at the same time,
Right.
how I build them up to be able to, block out all the excess noise is to give them the same thing up close and personal. When I say up close and personal, they're right here. I'm right here talking trash to them. I'm talking about their girlfriend. I'm talking about their mom. I'm giving it. I'm simulating the best possible scenario that I possibly can. That's just like when I'm rushing at the quarterbacks for them to make a pocket movement. Yeah, is it the real movement? Of course, it's not the real movement, but I'm also giving you a glimpse of what it would be like. You know what I'm saying? To where now you can prepare yourself for all these different situations, and that's what I do. And I always tell the kids short-term memory. Forget about what I talked about. Forget about what you've done the last play. It doesn't matter if you ran an 80-yard touchdown last play. Guess what? That's gone. Okay, if you threw one 80 yards, you threw one 50 yards. At the end of the day, if you threw a pick, if you're still worried about what went on that last play, then you're not in position to lead the team. And I preach about short-term memory over and over and over again, and that's the only way you're going to be able to be a successful quarterback by being able to block out what happened then. We want to block out what's happening now. So therefore, channel your mind to be able to lead versus what I said about you earlier, 5 minutes ago. You got what I'm saying? So now, when it comes to the game situation and things like that, or even on social media, because people taking from games going to social media and bashing you in ways that, during our era, there was no social media. You know what I'm saying? It was all word of mouth of what's going on in the stands, or getting that house call. You know what I'm saying? Somebody calling your house, calling your parents, or, prank calling you and doing things like that. But other than that, these kids got so many different avenues of how people can harass them and get them off the game and things like that. But that's where I come into play and how I train. I joke with them, but also at the same time, I'm giving them seriousness when it comes to real scenarios of how people think about you, how people are coming at you, how they're coming at your parents. I always tell parents, your parents have the toughest job by being sitting in the stands and people praise your son 1 minute and they degrade it the next minute. And also at the same time, your parents have to have a short-term memory just like you as a quarterback.
Okay. Now, being that you are in this training mode and you're working with these young men, do you find yourself when football season comes that you are going from school to check on your players to see how they're doing, to see if they're applying what you taught them? Do you find yourself doing that quite often?
And again,
I'm saying, because you're training so many kids, do you find yourself during football season, going from, Friday night game to Friday night game to check on your guys to see if they're applying what you taught them in the off season?
you know what? I used to do that, but now I poured in them so much to where now I wait to see the whole. You got what I'm saying? I took a little stress off myself because I was just having this conversation last night. It's just, I used to be able to the point where when I got in the business, I might have had 3 or 4 seniors, right? So I got a little thing with me. It's like seniors come first. I go see them play because that's their last time in high school.
Right.
So I want us to be able to see as many games as possible as I can from those young men to the point of it went from having 2 or 3 seniors to I got 12 seniors. I got 13 seniors to where now it's just like I may have a couple kids down here in Charleston, Columbia, the Florence, Myrtle Beach area. And then the rest of them are in the upstate. Then I might have a kid in Nashville. You got what I'm saying? I might have a kid down in Jacksonville. So it's just like, how am I going to be able to reach all these kids and their seniors to the point of I had to say, you know what? I'm just going to sit my butt down and just let these kids, you got what I'm saying? I'm going to let these kids come to me and report to me because since I got to the point where now these kids can self-adjust themselves in regards to things that they're not doing right and what they're supposed to be doing the right way. You got what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now it's just, I always tell kids when you're training, don't just sit, especially when you're training in a group session, don't just sit and watch a kid. Critique that young man as well. You're not doing it for, laughs and stuff like that. No, because at the end of the day, you got to be able to sit back and watch your film,
Yeah.
and you got to watch the man in front of you and be like, okay, I see what Coach Ramon was talking about, or I see what whatever coach is talking about.
Yeah.
Now I got to be able to. Now this is how I correct that. Now you got to channel your memory back to, okay, this is what we did in training. This is how I correct overstriding. This is how I correct, dropping my elbow when I don't need to in an open pocket situation when it's clean. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, when I'm out the pocket and extending the play, yeah, I'm gonna have to make a play. I'm gonna have to
Okay.
change my arm slide or do what I gotta do to make that play. But at the end of the day, I've poured into them enough that I feel like I don't have to chase behind them now to see how they're doing. You got what I'm saying? Just because of I just wait on that huddle film and go from there, and I concentrate more on the young crowd now.
Well, it's got to be a great thing, man, to have that kind of rapport with these young men, and knowing that you can now, because of technology and huddle and things like that, you can just let it come to you. You don't have to go out to them. But when you do have those conversations with them, what would be one or two of the things that you try to get them to really focus in on, or pick out what they might have not done well? What are some of the things you really try to get them to talk about to be ready for the next time?
The main thing is to lead, to be, to lead. That's the first
Okay.
thing that you have to do.
Okay.
You got to be able to lead. At the end of the day, that's not something that you learn. It's a way you carry yourself and things like that. Like, I can't teach you to be a leader. You
Yeah.
got what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that saying that saying has not changed. It is, leaders are born. You
Yeah.
got what I'm saying? And I played a lot of football. I don't want to get off the subject. I played a lot of football. I did a lot of things, but I see my true blessing coming from what I do now. It
Right.
doesn't matter how much money I made, what accolade I've accomplished, I've received, or what Hall of Fame I'm in. It's just that I see the true fruits of my labor in regards to what I'm supposed to be doing as a
Yeah.
man is leading and instructing in a position that I am in now. You know what I'm saying? I get so much joy out of that. And so when I say leader, I can say that, yes, I am a leader because I lead by example. You got what I'm
Right.
saying? And I always
Right.
tell them, you got to lead by example. You got to, as a quarterback, you got to walk a certain way. You got to talk a certain way. At the end of the day, when I say talk a certain way, you got to talk with a voice of command. You got what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And you got to command the huddle. I had a kid that say, hey, coach, my coach say I don't have command of the huddle.
Yeah.
I said, of course you ain't got command of the huddle because I can barely hear you talk.
Oh,
You got
okay.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You got a soft voice. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I said, nobody's going to follow that. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Nobody's going to follow that if you're soft spoken. At the end of the day, you got to be able to command your team. You got to be able to have that command that people want to follow you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I
Right.
tell my
Right.
guys. You're not walking with your chest up high because you got no. But at the end of the day, when you shake a man's hand, you shake your man's hand with your head up, chest up, firm grip.
There
You
you
know what
go.
I mean? But it's
There
the
you go.
same thing of I tell them that, be a leader. Take one play at a time. Don't think about the next play. Let's dominate this play, then we're going to move on to the next play. That's not get
Right.
greedy. And I always tell them, let the game come to you. You're going to know when the game comes to you. When that game comes to you, you take it by the horns and you ride it. You ride that bull and you ride into the end zone. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
those are the little things that I talk about when you talk about being a leader. You got to be a positive. When I say positive leader, at the end of the day, everybody's not going to be the perfect blocker. They're not going to catch every ball. They're not going to, you know what I'm saying? And those things.
Sure.
But
Sure.
you have to be that encouraging leader at the same time. Much as we want to say certain things, but we can't say certain things. We got to be that
Right.
positive guy. Just because we're the only one that can't criticize people. That people
Right.
don't understand. We can't. And once we degrade our guys, they stop following us.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody, like what we just talked about with short-term memory, everybody can degrade us, talk about us, shame us, on social media, everywhere possible. But at the end of the day, we cannot retaliate. Once we retaliate, we get looked down on. We don't. We're not looked at as a leader now. Oh, he got character issues because he responded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, those are the things that I tell them. For one, you got to be a leader. Take one play at a time. You got what I'm saying? Protect the football and keep leading your team.
Okay. Now, are you finding you are becoming more in tune with grooming these guys, not only with their abilities on the field, but guys who are looking at going to college with this transfer portal and how to manage all of this right now? Because that transfer portal seems to be, kind of, in my opinion, somewhat of a distraction at times, because guys go someplace and then all of a sudden they're ready to jump to another place, and then they're ready to jump to, a third place. How could you help them navigate that a little bit better so it's not a difficult situation for them?
You know what's so crazy is you say the transfer portal. The transfer portal ain't even really the thing right now. It's more the what's going on NIL wise. Notice, yeah, people are getting into the portal now because NIL wise, because of this school may be offering this and maybe offering that, or a better situation, and so forth, or to go play with this person. So on my end now, I don't really speak on transferring, because once you talk about transferring from the jump, then that's already, you're already doomed. If you're already talking about, hey, if you go, you can always jump into the portal. I
Right.
don't even speak on those terms. It's more so of, if you do go in the portal, this is what you got to look at. Or when guys are getting recruited, it's like, hey, look, man, you might want to jump on that opportunity and go ahead and sign with that school. Commit to that school right now. That's when I talk about portal, because if you don't do that right now, they're not taking two high school quarterbacks anymore. They're taking a high school quarterback and a portal guy. They're taking a guy that's already got a little bit of college experience and knows how the ropes, how things are going. And people don't understand it's tough being a college athlete right now. In
Yeah.
regards to a lot of guys, I've seen guys go to college, and this is when you know if they're cut out for it. Because
Okay.
everybody's not used to structure. You got what I'm saying? Everybody's not used to structure, because once you get in a structured system, your time is slotted where you're going, period. Day in and day out. You know what I'm saying? From once you get out of training to eating to study hall to this,
Yeah.
you got about an hour and a half, it's going to be 10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
got to get back up for weights at 6:30. So they got you programmed, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
to where that's your schedule. And a lot of parents have to adjust to that as well, when they think that they got all this time to talk to their daughters or their sons. But when you become a collegiate athlete and you got a true structure within your college, it's a job.
Yeah.
It's a job. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
when you see a lot of guys get into that portal. You start, because a lot of guys ain't used to the structure, and they think it might be easier over here versus over here, or because they give me a little bit of money over here, it's going to be, well, you may go in the portal and you're still in the same situation.
Yeah.
I've seen so many guys
Exactly.
go in the portal and the situation ain't changed.
Right. Right.
You got what I'm
Right.
saying? It did not
Right.
change. Oh, you might be at a bigger school, but son, you still a third string quarterback.
Just
You got what I'm
because you
saying?
went somewhere else, you thought it was going to get better, but it didn't.
Yeah, you still a third string quarterback. So what was your true reasoning for leaving? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? What was your true reason for leaving? So at the end of the day, use the portal. I tell the kids, use the portal for the right reason, because the portal is still scary, because you still got thousands of kids that's in portals that ain't got nowhere to go.
Right. Right. Right.
They got
Right.
nowhere to go. At the end of the day, some of them do have places to go, but at the same time, that ego, they have to come up off that high horse, because you can think about it. You can get a guy that's been a third string guy that's at a Power 5 school. He
Yeah.
can go into the portal. But at the end of the day, if you ain't got no film, you ain't got nobody at work. So for a coach to go off of, yeah, they may take it just because, hey, I came from this school. You came from Oregon. Yeah, we're going to take you at Georgia State. Okay, cool. All right, that's a Division I school, but it's a lower Division I school. So they're gonna take a guy. They're going to be privileged to say, hey, we'll take a guy. We're going to take you from, you know what I'm saying, from Oregon, right?
Oregon. Yeah.
Who you played at Oregon? Well, you was third string. Okay, what string are you now?
Third string.
Oh, I moved up to second. I'm taking third. Okay, and then what was your reason for moving?
Yeah.
Because you thought you were going to get something else, but you didn't get it. So now you thought your situation was worse, was bad where you came from, but it wasn't as bad as you thought. Because once you get in there and you start swimming, and ain't nobody biting.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's hard. I done seen it. I got kids like that. I got kids that done been to Portal and they sit there, hey coach, what's going on? What's this and that? Nah, I told you to take this opportunity hit when it first came along.
Right. Right.
I can't make that call now. Because at the end of the day, you got to get that ego out. Well, if you're true and you really want to play some football, then go sign with that school and quit worrying about what level football it is.
Well, those are some very true words to speak to these young men, because a lot of them, think their value is more than what it really is. And when they get to certain locations or certain schools, they find out the value is not what they think it is. So they're ready to move on. But like you said, hey, you got to do some things in order to increase your value, because if you're not working to become more valuable, then moving to another school is not going to change that.
No, it's not going to change things. What good does it do if you're already fighting for a position over here in the same position? What sense did it make for you to leave?
Right.
It didn't make any sense. I'm not going to go into the portal if I'm the third string quarterback and I'm just going to another school, regardless of what level it is, to be another second or third string quarterback. I'm not going to go and try to learn another system.
Yep.
Especially if I got time. If I got 3 to 4 years of playing, I'm not going to go just to jump in there and say, oh, I'm just going to go in the portal. Okay, you
Yeah.
in the portal, but you're in the same identical position that you was in. The only problem is now is you can't be number one because you don't know the system.
And Ramon, that is one thing that I really take a hard look at, is that all systems don't fit everybody. Sometimes, even especially at the pro levels, you get drafted, and you get drafted and they're going to pay you a lot of money, but is that system a good fit for you? And I've seen so many times where the system is not, that first team they go to, that system is not a good fit. They go someplace else, it's a better fit, and it's a better system for them, and it works out better. So again, these young men need to understand that, hey man, you need to understand their system. And if you don't understand their system, you just go in there because they're a high profile school. Yeah, it may be that, but it may not fit you because of who you are and the kind of abilities and skill sets you have. And it's a disappointment on both sides, from the school and the player, that it just didn't work out because they thought it was going to be something different. So it's good to know they got somebody like yourself. So if it doesn't work out, they can at least talk to you, because you have been through the fire. And if they're listening and paying attention, if they're truly listening, they got to be like, Coach, I understand. Yeah, okay, maybe I don't need to leave.
And that's the key thing that you said, if they're listening. And a lot of times I'm talking, but you don't hear me. You know what I'm saying? And it's just more so I've seen so many guys suffer that I've trained myself.
Right.
I've seen enough stuff go on within my academy with my own guys that I've trained, where I don't need to look at somebody else's experiences on social media or hear about anybody else's social media,
Yeah.
experiences, just because of I've seen my own. I've seen somebody chase the name and the logo versus chasing the right fit. This
Yeah.
offense fits me better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you look at it, hey man, this school is such and such, or this and that. No. At the end of the day, I've seen so many athletes get caught up into the logo.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
logo
absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
versus the right fit.
Yeah.
Where's the right fit for me? At the end of the day, like I said, if you truly want to play football, you don't chase the logo. You chase the right situation for your skill set, not because of it looks good for the homeboys or it looks good for the family members that I'm at this university versus that university. Or I chose Oklahoma State over Tulsa. Okay, well you went to Oklahoma State, but that's not the offense for you.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
got Tulsa, but Tulsa is the offense for you. It's
Right.
not. It's the right offense for you, but it's not. It's not as sexy. You got what I'm
Oh
saying?
no.
It's not as sexy to the guys, but that ain't nothing sexy than the opportunity to be to play. If your goal is to play on the next level, you're going over your ball, and then you doing what you got to do because at the end of the day, competition is the same. You say
Yep.
whatever it is, that's Division I football. You got to give these people on the next level something to grade you off of. What can they grade you off of if you're not in the lineup?
That's right. That's right. I mean, it's hard to grade you, son. I've been here for the last year, man, and you still over there carrying the clipboard. So
Right.
you aren't getting better. And you're learning a system. And that's the thing that's really really key, because when you say it's not sexy or it's not popular or it's not, where people are in your ear telling you, oh, your family members, your boys telling you this, you got everybody chirping in your ear telling you one thing, oh man, you need to go there and do this, when it's like, hey man, that's not a good fit for me. And
Right.
I think when these guys, especially when their careers are over, and everybody, of course, wants to tell you, well, I want to play at the next level. Okay, man, the next level doesn't always mean you're going to end up playing in the NFL. There are other levels that may be better suited for you. And you could go to the NFL and it didn't work out, and after that 1 year, you're done. Nobody's looking at you anymore. Whereas you could have gone someplace else, and it might have been a better experience or a better fit. And I think, Ramon, if those are the things that we are trying to teach our young men and get them to listen, because I know they hear you, like you said, they hear you, but they're not listening. I think that's
Right.
so key, man. Because hey, son, is it a good fit for you? You think it's a good fit for you because you find out that, hey man, they don't really care for you like they told you when they're recruiting you. Oh, we're gonna take care of you. Okay, and it don't work out.
Right.
It don't work out. So to know that, again, you got a guy like yourself who can, if they're listening, pay attention to what you're telling them and things of that nature. Before we go to break, you were telling me that you got some kids. Talk about some of the kids that you are looking forward to uh, in your camp, who are juniors and seniors coming up into the upcoming football season in high school. What are some of the guys' names that you see have some real potential that we can be looking forward to putting on our watch list for the upcoming year?
When we start talking about that and talking about black quarterbacks, um, Gavin Owens, Gavin Owens, who just committed to Memphis, he's over the Raven Gap. I spoke to you about him last year.
Yeah.
He's a 2026 rising senior.
Okay.
You got you have Javon Gilmore, who's committed to Arkansas.
Okay.
He's going to be another guy over at Gaffney High School.
Okay.
He's committed there. Man, my 26 class. Oh man. Oxendine. Oxendine, just like Oxendine. For us,
Okay.
if he gets healthy, he'll be a guy to watch out for. And if he can put together a complete season, I think he'll be a guy to some schools on the lower Division I level come back around and offer it. He jumped out there early with some major Division I offers, but a lot of them have fell off just because of, once again, you got to have a body of work,
Yeah.
regardless of where you started at. It's not how you start, it's about how you finish. But at the end of the day, you got to have that body of work for these coaches to be able to and evaluate you and do the right things and see where they're going to place you at. And another guy, Messiah Jackson, who's a state championship quarterback out of South Florence High School, has a bunch of
Okay.
offers, hasn't committed anywhere yet. But he's going to pick up a lot more traffic in regards to everything that's going on with him. Tristan Lewis out of Greenwood High School, another sleeper in that class, another 6'4", 6'5" quarterback,
Okay.
gunslinger, athletic. He's at Greenwood High School. Junior Trey Howard.
Trey Howard. Okay.
Trey Howard out of Ridgeview High School, picked up a lot of traffic. Another undersized quarterback, but he's a magician back there when it comes to slicing and dicing the defense, to where he comes from a football background. He has that pedigree, man, and he's
Okay.
he's at guy, and I may be missing some guys, but ultimately, trying to think, man, I don't want to miss nobody.
No, you're
But
good because I know it's a lot of guys, and I know when we put together our watch list there, when I'm putting that together from state to state, man, and trying to see who these guys are, it becomes so overwhelming at times because there's so many guys. Hey, stay with me, man. I'm gonna take a real quick time out and come right back to you. We're gonna chop it up a little bit more. All right. All right. Joining me tonight is my guest, Coach Ramon Robinson, a legend in his own right from Anderson, South Carolina, T.L. Hannon High School, and Benedict College. He now operates Elite Football Quarterback Academy over there in Anderson. So we're going to get back to him. But while we take this quick time out, once again, we want to remind you that the merchandise is still available for you. We ask that you just go to our website, go to our email, tell us if you want to get the logo shirt, and we're very happy to have that logo shirt available. So you can get the logo shirt. There it is right there, $40, about $45, $48 for larger sizes. Or you can get the golf shirt, $55. They're all premium quality material, premium quality workmanship in our products. We honor them. They're all custom made, those two shirts. If you're looking for a little bit more than what those two are, this is our logo shirt. That's the all cotton shirt, only $25 for that. And then, of course, you can always get you, man, I tell you, if you want to be stylish on the sidelines or at a game, get you one of these warm-ups, the quarter-five back warm-up in our traditional colors, and let folks know that you're representing quarter-five back. And as we continue to go forward this year, we want to remind you that you still need to get you a copy of my book, The Forgotten QBs, the little-known history, information, and statistics about Black quarterbacks. We are updating information on a regular basis. Go to our website, check out our newsletters, click on the blog, and you'll find some phenomenal information that we are putting together and putting out about some phenomenal quarterbacks who have played this game, and put some stats together that you would not believe. So get a copy of the book. Your library is empty without it. And we just ask you to please continue to support what we're doing. We're going to get back to my guest now, Coach Ramon Robinson, up there in South Carolina, doing a fantastic job up there and doing all that he can to help bring these young men to the light. That's what he's doing. So, Coach, let me get back to this, Ramon. Now, we talked about, training these guys up and teaching them. And as we look at the upcoming season and these guys are getting ready, what are some of the more critical things that you pride yourself on teaching guys in your camps, other than leadership? I know you're teaching them the leadership, but what are some of the other things that you pride yourself on teaching these guys that will better make them better quarterbacks and better individuals?
Just more so just self-confidence, man. For one, that's the key. You gotta have self-confidence that you, like I said, that you can lead, that you can be that guy. And
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not in an arrogant way, but it's also self-confidence is huge. And if you can't have self-confidence, it can't be self-motivated.
Right.
Self-motivation is something big that a lot of people ignore. Somebody shouldn't have to motivate me to want to be great. You got what I'm saying? You got to have a little bit. I can enhance that to make you push yourself a little bit further, but you should also have self-motivation and be able to do those things yourself without somebody having to get behind you all the time to do. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's where that old school coaching is. If I know that you got that in you, that dog, as we say, then I'm going to push that dog a little bit further.
Yeah.
Be than the norm. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things that I instill and I look for, and like I said before, it's also just, it's not about training.
Yeah.
Train all day long, but I also got to have you in position in the classroom to be able to reap the benefits of being able to be recruited by these big universities. You know what I'm saying? And so
exactly.
if that's the number one thing, is that if you ain't got your grades in line, I don't fool with you.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
And you don't have to take a break from me, because if you're not doing what you're supposed to do in the classroom,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what are we out
Absolutely.
here for? Because why
Absolutely.
I do those things is because the fact that it, you would think that I was an academic advisor or you just can't know it because of I've been there before. Like I said on the show before, I've been the jock. I've been the
Yeah.
jock that's been satisfied with just making the C's and D's just to pass on to the next grade. Not because I was a dummy, it's just the fact of it is things are different. Things are different when it comes to your circle in regards to having people to motivate you, to mentor you, to do the things that I'm doing right now. I didn't have the means then. You know what I'm saying? So I do that now. It's just that I'm big on that just because I don't want kids to fall by the wayside. And then when you get to the end, as I said, you get to the end of the rainbow, you can't even taste it just because the fact of it is you did not handle the things that you were supposed to handle in regards to in the classroom. All that goes together. And I have a saying, it's called the elite student athlete. When you're the elite student athlete, then you have dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's in regards to being able to be in position to be recruited to that university of choice, or regardless of what level that is, because everybody's skill set is going to be different. They're going to get recruited different. At the end of the day, never judge your recruiting situation with somebody else's.
Yeah.
Because if I'm a 5'10", 5'11" quarterback and I got a 6'2" and above quarterback over here, yes, they're going to recruit that guy different. Why? Because that's the eye candy that they want to see. At
Yeah.
the same time, that does not mean that you can't do it, but it's saying it's things that you have to do within your game to still make yourself attractive to them. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so those are a lot of things that, like I said, it's more academics than anything. Because if you're handling that business, everything else is going to take its place for itself.
Okay. When do you know that a quarterback that you're training has that it factor for being that quarterback? When do you see that? When do you know that guys that got that it factor, man?
And it's almost like you in our conversations and things like that. You know, I got a thing where I'm 50 years old. I turned 50 years old this past year, and
Yeah.
everybody know I can sling the ball, this and that, and it's just I get in this competition thing, and I always tell the guys I'm still the best quarterback that I train. Okay, I'm still the best quarterback that I train. I'm still the best quarterback that I have trained. Okay, so therefore, regardless of what success and everything that goes on or whatever it may be, I will always stand by that. But I will never let these kids know that. Trying to get me to say something because it's like this right here. I know, but it's just like, dang, I cannot let him know this.
Right. I got you.
I cannot let him know this because I will push them to an area that I want to be able to touch him. Not just the physical part, but the mental part. When I can get them where the point of it is, Coach, I don't care nothing about what you're talking about. I'm
Right.
that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once I can get them to talk that way,
Yeah.
I know that that's the guy. You know what I'm saying? And
I hear you.
do little things because when I say that, you know, I've got praise from peers in regards to the things that I do or how I go at them just because, like I tell you, I'm battle testing you. I'm trying to see if you really are that dog. So now, when I see that, and then you take it to the game, then I'm just like, yeah, that's that man. That's that man. You know what I'm saying? That's that guy. Because I can battle and I can test him out and I can go toe for toe with him, making throws, this and that. But you're truly not going to know until they're in that same situation and it's live.
Yeah.
In front of you.
Well, you know, I asked that question, man, because knowing how important and critical the position of quarterback is, but when you're training them, it's like, okay, you trained a lot of guys, but there's always one or two guys, man, they just stand out from everybody else. They just stand out. And you don't want to make them feel like, you know, they're all that, even though you know, yeah, they all that. You try to keep them, you know, tempered, but man, when you see that guy, he's like, man, that kid there. And it's like in camps when we were at a camp this past April, and when the coaches start calling you by first name, when they start calling you by your first name, oh yeah, you have impressed them.
Yeah.
You have impressed them.
Oh, trust me. And I'm with you on that, man, because it's one of them things I'm just like, I'm like, yeah, he that guy. You know what I'm saying? And truly a dude, but I will always humble him and be like, dude, you still trash.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Trash.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just not, nah, I'm not trash. You got the wrong one.
Yeah.
When they tell me, coach, you got the wrong one, I'm like, ooh, wait. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love it. When they come back at me, man, that's when I know I'm just like, hey, yeah, I got me one here.
Yeah, you
I got
go.
one. I got one barking at my head just like I'm barking at his head right now. He's
right.
doing it in a respectful way with me. I'm still calling you trash. You still trash though.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. Hey, Ramon, and it's respectful trash talking. It's respectful trash talk. He's not being disrespectful. He's being confident, and he's letting you know, coach, I can dish it like you dish it too, coach. I'm not going to be disrespectful, but hey, coach, I'm that dude.
Yep, exactly.
I'm that dude, coach. So, yeah.
Exactly.
I know when the great Bob Hayes used to run track, man, when he was in college, when he would get down in the blocks to run the 100, you know what he would tell Ramon? Y'all need to figure out who's going to finish second.
Oh.
That's what he would tell them. Y'all need to figure out who's going to finish second.
Oh.
He was just like that, man, because it was nobody who could touch him. So it's not that you're being arrogant, it's confidence. And like you said, it's a swag, it's a swagger, but you know, you can tell the difference between a kid who's arrogant and who's confident. And when you find the ones who are kind of arrogant, you have to temper them. But the one who got some swag, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I feel him because he okay, he all right, man. And like you say, it's like quarterbacks and guys who run the 100 meters, they got to have a certain swag, man, because that 100 meters, man, is a man's race, you know, and you got to be ready to put it out there. So I was just curious, man, because I know having seen so many guys, man, I know, and I'm sure if I ask you, well, just drop a couple of names who all been your all-time favorite, but I'm not going to ask you to do that. I'm not going to.
You trying to get me in trouble now?
I'm not going to get you in trouble. I'm not going to do that. But I know you got some that when you taught them and brought them up and saw the body of work they put together, it made you a proud coach of teaching because you say, yeah, they really got a lot of the stuff I was teaching them and they, you know, embodied that. So that I understand. I understand. It's not hard. Now, you were telling me earlier in the show you got some guys over there at the University of South Carolina, man, we need to be paying some attention to, but you said you definitely trained probably the returning starting quarterback, Lennar Sellers. Tell us a little bit about what kind of kid he was when you were training him and what kind of young man you've seen him grow up to be.
Lennar first of all, I got introduced to Lennar. He got directed my way from my former teammate from college. He played defensive tackle.
Yeah.
I was actually playing on his travel, I think it was his travel team, local travel football team.
Yeah.
And he saw something in Lennar's at that age, man, where he was just like, Ramon, I see a younger you. Like how this kid throw a football at his age. And I was just like, really? And, you know, when I hear stuff like that, people are always talking about, oh, this kid can throw 50 yards in the 6th grade. Yeah. Throw the ball 60. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Who's mentioning it? A blind woman? I'm just like, somebody, a blind woman mentioning it? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. But when he called, because the reason why I say that is because some people are they're so delusional when it comes to that kid. Oh man, my kid is this and that and da 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 da. And that's why I was just like that. And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. But when he called me and he started just talking about the kid and stuff like that, I was like, okay, cool. So we hooked up, and this was in the 6th grade. I think in 6th grade going to the 7th grade. And when I met him, he was a nice sized kid for his age.
Okay.
You got what I'm saying? Nice size kid for his age. And when we started throwing football, I say, you know what? Okay.
Okay. Okay. I got you.
Right,
I
okay.
got you.
Yeah, he can do what I do, but he ain't me. I just said he can't throw it like me. But you know what I'm saying? But he can throw this football. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I got to, and he is one of them guys. Like when you start talking about, okay, he's that guy. Boom, boom. Okay, when I
Yeah.
saw him and he started to throw the football, and I was just like, you know what? He's raw, but guess what? He can spin this pig's head. Lord, he can spin.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, he can spin this thing. And I say, but you know, once I get him to the point of, and I have a thing about it is, and with the black quarterbacks, our goal is to be a quarterback first with athletic ability, not an
Right.
athletic quarterback trying to be
Yeah.
a quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
That's where it's confusing at. People don't understand it. Be a quarterback with athletic ability, not an athlete trying to play quarterback. You got what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And that's my thing. We want to be pass first. At the end of the day, let's learn how to play this quarterback position from the pocket. And
Yeah.
then we start to use our athletic ability to do the things that we need to do, make plays and so forth, or to avoid that tackle and so forth. But when he came, man, he truly did throw the ball 50 some yards at that
Okay.
age. And you know
Okay.
what I'm saying? But at the same time, I had to show him up a little bit like, look at, I can still throw this thing too, just so you know. This is why my former teammate said you can spin it how he thought I could spin it at that age, but I'm finna show you at that age, I was still throwing the ball 70 some yards at that time. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? And I would have to show him that. I had to. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
just, I was showing that for motivation, especially when you get guys that say, I can see a lot of myself in a guy. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
can see that natural arm strength. He had a natural hard ball that most people don't have. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
He had that natural arm strength to where now let me incorporate you learning how to truly use your body from the waist down to incorporate it into that strong arm that you got. Now that
Yeah.
you're throwing the ball 50 yards, now once you learn how to really fire these hips and use this lower body, now we're going to see this ball go from that 50 to that 55, 50, 60, 60. You know, it keeps going as your body matures and as you develop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he was one of those guys that really honed in on his craft in that class of 2000. That was my class of 2023.
Okay.
Where I felt like that was one of my best development classes. He was in the class
Yeah.
with him, Grayson Loftus, Raheem Jeter, James Raw, and all those guys. Those were guys that have been with me from an early age, and you could tell from their development that they had been with me for quite some time just because of the time that they had spent at wanting to be the top guys
Gotcha.
at that position. You know what I'm saying? So
Gotcha.
all I saw was growth when it came to him. All I saw was development, and that's what you want when you
Sure.
get these guys. Don't just train,
Sure.
train, train to develop. Develop what you're training. You got what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
There's no saying, oh, we're just training. Okay, well, I need to know more about just you training. Are you developing? Are you being a sponge and grasping onto everything that's being poured into you? But he was one of those ones. He was that sponge that you
Gotcha.
wanted to soak up.
Gotcha.
He was soaking up every bit of the water around him. He was wanting to be that guy. He was thirsty to be better. He was thirsty to be that quarterback that everybody wanted to recruit. You
Gotcha.
know what I'm saying? Even
Gotcha.
though they still looked over this thing, looked over the quarterback scene in this area, but you still had one of the best group of quarterbacks in this area, and he was one of them that was a sponge, and he was always wanting to get better. He was consistent with his development from his sixth grade year throughout still to this day.
Okay.
You got what I'm
Well,
saying?
let me tell you this, man. Let me tell you this because my son and I was talking. We like, we get a lot of guys from the Georgia area, especially Metro Atlanta. Man, they are all over us on our Instagram, and we're like, well, where the guys from South Carolina? Because Ramona talked about these guys, and we don't hear like we think we should hear from more of them. And I don't know if they're just unaware of it. So we would like to get some more South Carolina guys from the high school level on the show, man. To at least sending us some information because we want to just kind of make sure that we are looking at all of these guys, man, because when we come out with that watch list for South Carolina, I want to know that, hey, man, I'm going to send you that list, Ramon. And I'm like, well, who on my list are your guys? Because I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to them because I know you over there training them up just right. But I need to know they over there doing the job they're supposed to be doing statewide, because I know y'all got talent over there. We just want to dip into some of it. So you tell them guys we looking forward to getting them on the show.
Oh, I'm going to make sure, because, I got on to you the last time, man. I said, hey, look, hey, man, we got some dogs over here. You know what I'm saying? I told you that. I think we got some dogs. Y'all
okay, well, we want to see them. We want to hear from them. We want to talk to them, man.
We play football over here. We tired of being the underdog, baby. Hey, we tired of being the underdog.
Okay. Well, I knew if I dropped that nugget with you, it would resonate, and I'm expecting these guys to be like, oh, Mr. Kitchen, coach said you ain't hearing from South Carolina guys. Oh, it's like that? Yeah, well, we just want to hear from you, brother. Ain't nothing but some love. It's just love. We just want to hear from you.
Hey, don't leave me on red now when I start sending them over there too now.
We gonna love it. We gonna love it, man, because we got guys from middle school in Georgia. I got one of our top guys. He's just a 7th grader in Georgia, and he is going to be a phenomenal kid if he stays on track, man. But he can spin it. He can spin it. He's just a 7th grader getting ready to go to 8th grade, and his dad makes all these football footage clips of him and put them out. So we know about him. So we just want to make sure we hear from everybody, man. Hear from everybody. Hey, I know it's getting dark up there, man. I'm not going to keep you. But, hey, I truly, truly, truly appreciate you taking a little time out of your day, man, and spending with me and letting us talk to you a little bit. I'm going to chop it up. And like I said, we're going to get that list to you. Make sure you got some guys on that list so you can let us know who we're going to be looking at in the upcoming season.
I can't hear you.
Oh, I was just saying we appreciate you being here. We're looking forward to being able to send that information to you about the quarterbacks on our watch list from the state of South Carolina so that we can get these guys on the show and, see what they're talking about, man, because we're excited about anybody that wants to come on the show. So I know that it sounds like you're kind of going out. So I tell you what.
I can see you.
I tell you what. I'm gonna let you go, and we're gonna talk again. I'm gonna give you a call this week, and we're gonna chop it up a little bit, and I'm gonna send you that list from our 2024 watch list of South Carolina, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Hey, Ramon, man, God bless you, and thank you so much, man. You be safe. Continue to train them kids up just right, and we'll be talking to you real soon.
That sounds good. Thank y'all.
All right, appreciate you, bro.
Sure.
All right. That's our frat brother, Ramon Robinson. Yeah, we chopped it up with him tonight. Thank goodness we were able to get him on, and thank you for being patient with us tonight to be a part of our show. Well, that's going to about do it for me tonight. As we always say, we enjoy having you on our show, and let other people know about what we're doing here at the Post Route and under the banner of Quarter 5 Back. So until the next time, we want to say thank you, and we will see you then. But as we always say, as we close out, go deep, go for the bomb. Until next Monday night at 7 p.m., have a great week. Take care.